Okay, we've got different drinks.
Drink of the day.
Drink of the day is mango monster. I actually opened this yesterday, and it's been refrigerated, so it's a bit flat. But you know what?
You know what? I'm not surprised.
I didn't all pour out. It like spat out.
Oh.
It's nice flat.
I actually really agree.
I prefer flat drinks. I prefer that. It depends which one it is.
I like when carbonated drinks have gone flat. I actually rate that.
Not all of them.
The majority.
No, you see, mango drinks shouldn't be fizzy.
Mango juice.
Yeah, it's just
like
mango juice, right? Rubicon mango. If you've never tried that, drop everything you're doing right now and go try it.
My drink of choice is the watermelon Red Bull.
Yeah, also yesterday, I know last episode we were talking about foam rolling. Yesterday I was rolling out my back because my left shoulder is a bit congested at the moment. And I was doing it with one of those dense little balls. And I did it for about half. Why are you laughing?
That's what we were talking about last time.
No, I know, I just wanted to tell the peoples.
25 subscribers. Yeah.
4 more than last week, so love you, gang. Yeah, I was rolling it out for like half an hour yesterday, and then I went to bed and my lap was itchy, and I looked it up, and that's actually a thing. Like, people get itchy muscles, which is really weird because what is an itch? And then I went down a rabbit hole, and apparently it's because your blood vessels like dilate in size, so that's the sensation. But also there's 4 types of itchies. There's 4 types of itchinesses. And I went down like a Reddit chain, and apparently Reddit? Love Reddit. And people get itchy after lifting really, really heavy weights because of the blood vessel dilation.
Yeah, I can see that.
So comment down below if you feel itchy after foam rolling or lifting. Because Reddit confirmed I'm not the only one and I'm not going crazy. Although people
It's
on
Reddit
are
reliable.
crazy.
People just make stuff up and write it.
Hello munchkins, and welcome to the Alova's Chat podcast. You're here with Arena.
And Agmessa.
Are you going to say what episode it is?
And this is episode 4.
Progress isn't linear, guys.
That is the name of the episode.
Yeah, like we brainstormed last week. So, overview, our little warm up. The empower her, Empower Her calisthenics event was on Saturday, and I feel like Agnes has way more to talk about this than I do.
I mean, what's there really to talk about? It was a great event. It was a 1-year anniversary for the Empower Her calisthenics community, which is a females only, girlies only
Event.
Yeah, and this time I was invited to be a guest coach, and I was helping out with handstand to L-sit, flags, split levers, and yeah, all in all, it was a really wholesome event.
Turnout was really, really good.
Yeah, good vibes all around. What else is there to say? There was a lot.
It was her first time coaching.
Yeah, it was quite nerve-wracking. Again, I haven't really ever coached adults. When I coach kids, and obviously it's quite different. But obviously everyone there was really nice, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
People learnt new things, so that's
what's most important. It's just the community and the vibes are really good.
And it was a good day. I was so dead the next day though. It was like, it's today Monday? Yesterday.
Yeah. You wouldn't have wanted to be here.
What? You wouldn't want to be around me?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, it was a bit I was a bit out of it yesterday.
So I think you pretty much covered it.
Sorry. It's really off-putting.
You're off-putting. Have you seen that interview where it's, whose are they? I'm going to insert the clip where it's
Jennifer
like,
Lawrence.
yeah.
You should be off-putting.
Yeah.
I think of interviews and I just see the Nathan for you.
Guys, you know when you're like really delusional at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, and you're like bordering on not mania but like genuine like hallucinations? It's not just us, it's been confirmed by other people that this happens to them. Watch Nathan For You. It's
Watch the first
actually
episode.
it's not even good. It's not even good. It's just you need to be in the right mood, and it's hilarious. Because I then tried watching it when I was in a normal state, and I kid you not, my face was straight throughout the whole thing. You need to be in a certain mood for it.
Yeah, but when we watched it, we were in that mood. I think it was like, I think we were was it the day you were editing the pod?
I think it was the first week of pod.
We were like editing or like making shorts or whatever, and we were like, oh, let's just do it downstairs and let's just put something on in the background.
Having difficulties with the mics recently. Don't know what it is. It might be the fact that they're £12 from Amazon, likely thing. So we're back. We've done the overview. So we're just going to get into the main section straight away because we are quite tight for time. As we've mentioned, today's episode is about progress and how it's not actually linear, as we determined last week. So a bit about why we picked this topic. For me, it's quite prevalent. That's the word I was going to say, prominent. Prevalent in my life at the moment because I am currently, so I'm on a powerlifting program and my strength is slowly declining because I'm on a cut, but also my cuts hit a plateau, so nothing's going great at the moment, and it's just sometimes it can be a bit rough to think about, and it's very demotivating if you ask me, because it just feels like nothing's going right, even though I've made progress throughout the year regarding both the cut and also my strength. But currently it's been like a month, I'd say, where it's just stagnated and even declined, unfortunately. So this is quite an important topic for me at the moment. What about you?
I just think it's an important topic in general in anyone's like sports journey, gym journey. I feel like I don't even know.
Okay, so just briefly, what does progress mean to you? Like, what do you view progress as? Do you measure it in terms of like numbers or skills? Is it more of a mental game to you? What do you interpret progress as?
It depends. I would say it is to an extent a case of numbers of like reps, the way the movement feels. Like, for example, if I'm talking about calisthenics here, in statics, the way something feels, the length of time I'm able to hold it for, or like unlocking a new skill, that would be like a milestone of progress for me. In my day-to-day life, I don't really think about progress. It's only when I look back after months that I start to think about my progress. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's a good thing because you're not stuck on...
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to just like train in the moment. And obviously I see like small progresses, like I'll hit new PBs for like reps, pull-up reps and stuff. But the main way I look at my progress is over a few months, or even like this past year, for example, if I'm tracking Cali progress.
I think we train in different ways, because I tend to be very, like, I need to know everything. I need to know my sleep. I need to know what I've trained, my cardio, my numbers. I need to know it every day, because it helps me think, and it helps me, I just like everything known, and it helps me be more analytical rather than going with the flow, especially things that are more important to me. I feel like I cope better in that way. So my training, I see the progress. Yeah, it's small, step by step, but I see it not daily, but that's the way I see it rather than the bigger picture. And I think that's part of the issue, because yes, looking back, I've done a lot throughout the year, but my brain doesn't comprehend that because I'm so stuck on the little points. So I think in a way how you do it is a lot more beneficial if you do get a sense of motivation from progress. I think it depends what not even motivates you, but what helps you in your training.
Yeah, I don't know. Talking about motivation, in a way, yes, I agree with what you're saying, but in a way also, then I feel like it is harder, because you kind of, if you don't recognize the small wins along the way, for example, like maybe not daily, but like over the weeks, then maybe you kind of tend to lose motivation, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
you're not noticing your progress adding up, which could make you lose motivation. I don't know. It really just, I think, depends on an individual approach, and also the type of like training you're doing. Because for powerlifting, obviously, it's like about numbers.
Yeah,
and
like you're meant to be going up each.
Yeah, your program is very like set up. It's like numbers on numbers. Where I guess that is true for Cali. It honestly depends. For me personally, I don't have a program where it's like written numbers. I kind of do more of the way I feel.
Yeah, it's. I think it's different for Cali, especially in statics, because the next question I was going to ask is, has your idea of progress changed since gymnastics? Because for me, it has, because gymnastics is it's body weight, and it's how you feel the movements. And in gymnastics, progress is not linear in the slightest, because one day you could feel like the most flexible person on earth, everything's going so well, and the next day you actually just can't get your leg up. Yeah. So it's very difficult to wrap your mind around. Whereas now that I've switched modes of training to something more like numbers based and more mathematical in a way, it has changed.
That's actually got me into a deep thought of the way I viewed progress in gymnastics. Because like, obviously, you'd have numbers, for example, of like drills you had to complete, of clean routines you had to play. But I guess if I'm thinking progress-wise, it would be in maybe mostly in the individual skills. For example, in the pivots, the turns, it's like, am I consistently getting like triples? Or
it's consistency.
Yeah, interesting. Like consistency in the routine as well. Like, am I consistently playing this routine clean? Am I consistently catching this risk? That's very interesting, because we had numbers for like conditioning exercises and stuff, but I didn't use that to track my progress. My progress was tracked in consistency.
How you feel as well.
How my body feels. Like, say I've just played a routine and I don't feel as tired. Whereas like the week before, I'd be like completely out of breath. Maybe not the week, maybe a few weeks before or month. I'd be completely out of breath and like knackered from that. That's very interesting, I think.
Yeah.
But again, it is the kind of the type of sport you do.
Yeah, I agree. But I also think it's how you view it as well. Because for example, if you're not seeing progress aesthetically, or if you're not seeing progress weight wise, another way that you can measure progress is like, how do you actually feel? Like, you might feel like you are lighter, like you're moving better,
More
energy, maybe, I mean, cut wise, I don't think more energy is quite, but like maybe you're sleeping
Sometimes
better.
I find when I
True.
drop a bit, I feel
if you're eating cleaner, like even stuff like that, you need to be aware of, because it's not just one thing, and it's the things that are indirectly linked to your goal as well. So if you feel like you are hitting some sort of plateau, I feel like it's quite good to look at external factors, which was actually the next question I was going to have.
I was just going to add to that, like, maybe even progress for someone is obviously this is going to be the case, but progress for some is literally how many times a week did you show up at the gym. No, regardless of how it goes, it's progress. I feel like that's quite, I feel like I just pointed out the obvious, but
sometimes the obvious needs to be pointed out, because it's not pointed out enough because it's so obvious. Placebo round. My next question was, how do you deal with plateaus? So I think I've kind of touched on it a bit, but what does that...
Plateaus, it's difficult because it is so, it's not, it depends how you look at it. I find it demotivating. I'm like, I've been stuck on this, it's not getting better, but how do you deal with them? Consistency, like, you just keep showing up, because you'll get through it. And I feel like, for me, I won't even notice how I get out of the plateau. I'll look back later and I'll be like,
there was just a day where it just suddenly worked.
When it got better. That does actually happen to me. It will just be a random day as well.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
A random Tuesday. It is quite weird. I think it's very difficult because plateaus can last for ages, and you just feel like giving up, honestly. Like, day after day, you're working on the same thing. You're either getting worse or you're just staying there. And your brain kind of goes, what am I doing this for? And it's not the nicest feeling.
Yeah, definitely not.
But I think in those moments, you just have to remind yourself how far you've gotten. I know it sounds like cliche and cringe, but genuinely need to remind yourself how far you've gotten, and that at some point in your life, you probably wished that you were in the position that you are now.
Yeah, and you just have to remember that, like, if you do you stick to the plan, you stay consistent, you'll get through the plateau. It's inevitable, surely. Unless there's like something wrong with the plan. In that case, tweak it.
Make adjustments as well.
Make changes.
If it's been going on for too long, make changes. Try something different. I don't even know what, sleeping more.
This is also a disclaimer from our experience. Like, this is not
professional advice. This is more of like something for us, because our progress has been a bit flat at the moment. So it's kind of just us getting our thoughts out and trying to motivate ourselves.
Take it with a grain of salt. Is that the saying?
A pinch of salt.
Grain of salt.
A grain of rice.
Take this with a grain of rice.
Can you have a grain of salt?
Surely.
Salt's a rock. Okay.
Worcester's freaking out.
What do you think contributes the most to your improvement and your progress?
Maybe routine. I find that if I
don't know why that's interesting. That makes sense.
No, because I feel like when it's all over the place, I feel all over the place. Because in a routine, I'm talking about like not just like going to like the gym every day or at the same time. I'm talking like whole routine, like
The whole
getting
day.
sleep, eating the right foods. Maybe it depends. Yeah, I don't even know. Just organizing my brain a little bit. I don't know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What was the question again?
What do you think contributed most to your improvement? But even in the past, because I don't think we saw it that way, because I agree with you. I think routine is very important, and I think when you're consistent, that's when progress is seen the most. But I don't think that was the case when we did gymnastics, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I was thinking about it like literally just a second ago, and I was thinking that when I was training gymnastics, I was in a constant like strict routine. I had my days where I train. I had the exact time I train. It was usually in the same routine, school, training.
Yeah, but
my body was used to it.
Not all the time you'd have the same progress. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was a routine throughout the whole thing. So the routine wasn't a varying factor, but your progress was.
Interesting. Maybe then, for me, the routine is more of a mental, factor.
Yeah.
I mean, actually just yapping rubbish right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we had the consistency set out for us. We'd be brought to trainings, but it's then like, how would you feel yourself in the training? Are you going to push yourself to the maximum, or are you just going to turn up and stand there in the corner? If you had days where you were in a state, you come in, you're focused, you're locked in, you're so aware of your body, your body is like a machine, you're feeling tight. This is so weird, but do you not get what I mean?
I get you, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, because I'm actually thinking about it now. I think the thing that contributed in gymnastics, I think that the thing that contributed the most to my progress was the coaches and what coach I had. And like the people who I was training with. When I made the most progress was if I was training with, if there were people that I liked and like in the groups that I was actually friends with, but not in like a competitive manner. Even so, in a competitive manner, I think if it was people that I was friends with but also competed against, I'd work better than if there was not bad blood, because there wasn't really bad blood, but if there wasn't really anyone I was competing against. I think I need to see the competition for me to work better, or I need to be aware of the competition because I'm quite a competitive person, so that makes me push myself more. And if I'm not aware that there is competition or how much they're doing, I'm kind of like,
I
can't explain it.
I agree in the sense, okay, because we've like clearly interpreted this question differently.
Yeah.
But it's interesting nonetheless. But I agree in the sense that it depends who you're surrounded by and your coaches. But for me personally, I disagree. I don't know, actually. I think maybe,
I mean, each to their own.
Each to their own. I think maybe I was kind of in a place where I was doing better because my peak was in progress, and that was when I was.
Your peak was in progress.
I can't. I'm sorry, I had it in my head. My peak was in COVID, when I wasn't surrounded by the competition, and I was in it for myself. I was on my own path.
That's fair.
And I would say that's for me, like when I'm not competing against anyone is when I can focus on myself and set my own goals.
Yeah, I think mine's changed to that now, but I think in gymnastics I was very like external factors orientated. Like I had a lot of I was more extrinsically motivated when I was younger, but now I think it comes a lot from where I want to be personally rather than the competition. So it's changed a lot, and I think it will change in the future again, but it's a weird thing, progress. But comment down below, well, don't, because
no one ever does. No, guys.
Comment down below how you guys find progress and what it means to you, and whether or not,
How do you measure progress?
that's the one.
Also, I'm interested, how do you like track your progress? Like, do you like physically track it? Because I know Arena, she tracks it like proper.
I have a
day-to-day.
notepad, and I've got it's very structured. I write out a grid for the week and I track it every day.
And I have started to do that, but I just find it so hard to follow.
I love it.
I feel like as soon as I'm like locked into this grid that I have to track, it makes it worse. I feel like I'm constricted.
It helps me stop thinking about it.
See, but it makes me think about it way more.
Because otherwise it's in my brain. I need to write it down for it to be expelled from my brain. And I like when things are all in one place, and when it's like not even color coded, but when it's organized part by part, and I can see it visually, because I need visual aids.
I think I prefer when I can just feel it, you know?
Fair.
I don't know, because that's very unlike me actually in general as a person. I like to have things written down and structured. But in terms of training, maybe it's just because it like gets, you know, when it just like gets to you more, and it's just like you're in your head overthinking everything. I don't know. Maybe it will change. Anyway, yeah, that was my question. Like, genuinely, do you guys actually track it, like write it down, or like keep a notes app?
Yeah.
Or do you just like, what do you do?
Yeah. Cool. I think it's time we head into the cool down just quickly. I don't actually know. I had something planned, but I don't know how well it's going to go. But one thing currently in our lives is cardio, and you're on the machine or you're doing something for a while, especially low intensity, steady state lists, and you need to pass time somehow. One way that we've been doing this is Reddit. And so where this all began was at my old work. One of my friends told me that if you think a place is haunted, firstly, got the Lord to protect you. Secondly, this is what she said, but if you think that the place is haunted, clap 3 times and it will tell the ghost to go away. Right, that's what we said. So obviously, as one does, you put that into Reddit. Yeah.
Can I add, I believe this was a late night session.
Yeah.
Like winter time. It was late, like, you know, we were going insane, as we do.
So we typed that into Reddit, and then we just the amount of ghost stories on there. Oh my gosh. We read one on the other bus, and it was spooky. It was so strange. I'm
convinced people make that stuff up.
Yeah, but then also there's like a level to it where you can't make that up, because
like
how does one think of that? Because the one we read on the bus was like saying how this person went to their friend's house, and her friend like claps twice in front of the mirror before she goes to sleep, and she's like, oh, you can't clap 3 times, like never clap 3 times. So the person A, who was at person B's house, went to the bathroom and was like, yeah, she's a joker, 1, 2, 3. And then some like weird stuff started happening, and they like saw themselves hung from like the shower head covered in blood with like parts ripped off.
But like, you can't tell me that's a real story because we like that.
And then they awoke in their bed. It was weird. And then
But then that was a dream.
And then person B was like stood there menacingly smiling over that. Weird.
Must have been intoxicated with some substances, I think.
Yeah. But
anyway, guys, read ghost stories on Reddit.
It's honestly
Pass
so
your
entertaining.
time.
It does pass your time. Also, I've been clearing out my photos, which just getting your brain distracted really helps because you start to zone out.
I was going to say, my tip is take out your music, put everything down and just like zone out.
Sometimes that really
Stare
works,
into the wall. That's what I do. On the Stairmaster, time goes quickest when I stare at the wall.
I'm
Because
not going to agree with that, but
my
at
mind
times,
goes so... I think
if you're an
about things.
overthinker, do that.
Yeah, but it's like, it's so peaceful.
I like having
Free
something to
therapy.
do. The gym is free therapy. I like having something to do, so clearing out photos really helps.
Oh, I've got another
Sorting
tip.
your playlist. You know those little tasks that you have on your phone, or like
I have a
to
tip.
do. Yeah.
Get too close to the end of a book and then allot to yourself a certain amount of pages or like a chapter and read it. It's like a race against time. I don't know, because like once I did this, I had like a chapter left or like 30 pages or something. I was on the treadmill. I was like, I must finish this book before I get off the treadmill. All I was thinking about was, let me finish this book.
Yeah. Her mic is beeping red again, so we're gonna have to conclude it here, and also we don't have that much time anyways. So it was lovely talking to you guys. Please comment down below on anything. Also tag any Reddit chains down below for us to read because I'm on that.
Give us the entertainment.
Yeah. But yeah, hope you guys have a lovely week, and we'll see you again next Wednesday. Farewell, Munchkins.